Students, today we are going to see your unit 2, that is about electricity. In this lesson, the learning objectives of this lesson are: you will see how a flow of electric current happens, how you draw the diagram, that is the circuit diagram, how do you connect it and draw, then the difference between the conventional current and electron flow, and you will understand different types of circuit based on flow of electricity and connection of bulbs in a circuit, and you will distinguish a cell and a battery. Then you will understand the effects of electric current and its factors affecting. Then you will see how you will apply your knowledge in identifying the components of electrical circuits. Then you will understand the discrimination between different types of circuits, and you will do numerical problems and circuit diagrams on your own. Now, how did this electricity exist in our life? Where did it come from? Where did it originate from? In the year 1882, first electricity was lighted up in the New York City. It was not less than a miracle. Thomas Alva Edison, a scientist, switched on the switch and lighted up 14,000 bulbs in 9,000 houses. After that day, the world was under light even in the night. Slowly, electricity was started to be used for domestic purposes also. Then it came as a daily commodity to all in common. In India, electricity began after 17 years from New York in the year 1899. Our first thermal power plant in India was commissioned by the Calcutta Electric Supply Corporation Limited on 17th April 1899. Then around 1900s, a thermal power station was set up at Basin Bridge in Madras city, which was used to distribute current throughout the Madras for all your general and hospitals and houses. Each and every common household commodity purpose electricity was distributed through this setup station in Basin Bridge. Today, electricity is a common household commodity. You can see it everywhere now. Without electricity, you cannot survive. Your house appliances will not work without electricity. Your phone cannot be charged without electricity. It has become a most common use to mankind. So, this is a miracle happened to mankind. In your class 6, you learned about electricity and their sources, like how it was used in operating factories, running medical equipments like ventilator, communications like mobile, radio, TV. Your TV remote also works from electricity, like small battery cells. You will learn that in detail as you move on in the lesson. Everywhere electricity is required. Electricity is nothing but a form of energy which is associated with electric charges that exist like materials. Now, materials are made up of small particles called atoms. The center of atom is nothing but nucleus, which has protons and neutrons. Protons are nothing but positively charged, and neutrons have no charge. And there are electrons that move in circular orbits around the nucleus of the atom. They are negatively charged. The electric charge is measured in a unit called Coulomb. 1 unit of Coulomb is charged approximately 6.242 into 10 to the power 8 protons or electrons. Electric charge is denoted by the letter Q. In this page number 13, you can see whatever I have told you now, how electricity was introduced, in which year the plant was brought to India, how commonly Basin Bridge thermal power station was accomplished, and what is an atom. It has proton, neutron, and electron. Protons are positively charged, neutrons have no charge, and electrons are negatively charged. And how electricity is measured using Coulomb. Now, in the next page, you will learn more about electric current. What is electric current? Electric current is the flow of electric charges from a wire. You can see when you connect your mixie jar to the plug point, wire, the electric charges passes through the wire and it flows to the appliance to make it work. For any electrical appliance, example fridge, mixie, AC, anything, whatever needs current, only when the current flows through it, then it works. If you until you don't switch off the appliance, the current doesn't flow through it to make it work. So electric current is nothing but the flow of electric charges. The conventional symbol for current is I. An electric current is measured by the amount of electric charge moving per unit time at any point in the circuit. Now here you are defining electric current. The SI unit for measuring an electric current is ampere, which is the flow of electric charge across a surface at the rate of 1 coulomb per second. It is denoted by I, where I is equal to Q by T. I is nothing but your current, that is measured in ampere A. Electric charge is Q. Unit of Q is coulomb. Time taken is T. Unit is seconds, that is S. Now, see the worked example which is done for you. Here, 30 coulomb of electric charge flows through a wire in 2 minutes. How will you calculate the current in the wire? Charge Q is equal to 30 coulomb. Time T is equal to 2 minutes. That is 2 into 60 seconds will give you how many seconds total? 120 seconds. Now, applying the formula, current I is equal to Q by T, that is 30C by 120S, which gives that the current flown through the wire is 0.25 ampere. Okay, now you will see what is a conventional current and electron flow. Conventional current flow is nothing but positive to the negative end. When the current flows from the positive end to the negative end, it is conventional current. The current flows from positive to negative, while as the electron flow in the current, it flows from the negative to the positive. Conventional current is the opposite of your electron flow. That is, conventional current is in the opposite direction of electron flow. Conventional current flows direction, you will see in the diagram, it is the opposite of the electron flow diagram direction. Can you note it? Yes. Now, this movement of negative charges is called electron flow and the movement of positive charges is called conventional flow current. Now, measurement of electric current. How do you measure electric current? We use a device called ammeter to measure our electric current. It is marked with terminals positive and negative at its terminals. Terminals, that is the right corner and the left corner. You can see the terminals in that. The red is the positive and the black is the negative. To measure the current, you have to connect this ammeter in the series in a circuit. That is, in the circuit diagram, you have to draw an ammeter also. That is, the circuit includes the ammeter to be connected to measure the current flown through the process. Ammeter is like you have two kinds of ammeters to measure two ranges of current passing through it, like small measure currents for milliammeters are used. For microampere range, microammeters are used. You will now see the comparison between milliampere and microampere. Milliampere is little bigger than microampere. That is, 1 milliampere MA is equal to 10 to the power of minus 3, that is 1 by 1000 ampere. 1 microampere, that is mu A, or whatever you can say, microampere, that is equal to 10 to the power of minus 6 ampere. Microampere, 1 by 1000000 ampere. Now you can see the worked example done for you, how current flow is calculated. See, 0.002A. Now we know 1 ampere is equal to 10 to the power of 6 microampere, right? So 0.002 ampere is equal to 0.002 into 10 to the power of 6 microampere. Now 0.002 can be written as 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Then 10 to the power of minus 3 and 10 to the power of 6 gets cancelled and 10 to the power of 3 is got. So 2 into 10 to the power of 3 gives you 2000 microampere. That is 0.002 ampere is equal to 2000 microampere. This is the conversion, how it is done. Hope you understand the class better. Then you will see what is a potential difference. Anyone knows what is a potential difference? Any guesses? Potential difference. Any guesses? Potential difference is nothing but, now for example I will give you a current flows through a wire and suddenly little amount of current is used to run a fan. The difference between the both currents is the potential difference. That is work done to move a unit charge from one point to another. Difference between 2 points of current is potential difference. Now see, electric current flows through a wire, higher potential, that is example 100 or something ampere, than the potential needed to run a fan, that is 20. This difference in the potential of both is nothing but the potential difference. The difference between 2 points where the current flows, that is the potential difference. An electric current can flow from when there is a potential difference. You will see in detail. Now, what is a potential difference as a definition? The water flows from the higher to the lower. Higher it has one potential, lower it reduces. This difference is given as potential difference. So, the potential difference between any 2 points in the circuit is the amount of energy needed to move 1 unit of electric current charge from one point to the other. Now, while passing through a railway track, you would have noticed that there is a precautionary board written on that it shows it has high voltage denotes. This is denoted by high voltage, that high voltage current is passing through it. Please be cautious. This means that there is high electric potential difference in it. Now, you will see the SI unit of potential difference, that is given by volt V. The SI unit of potential difference, volt V, is the difference between 2 points to be measured by using a device called voltmeter. Like how you measure current by ammeter, here potential difference is measured by voltmeter. See in the picture, look at the picture, you will see how the waterfall has got more potential energy at the higher level and it has less potential energy at the base. This is nothing but the potential difference. The electric current flow from the higher potential level to the lower potential level is just like the water flow. Now next you will see electric conductivity and resistivity. How much it can control the flow of current or stop current from flowing is resistance. What is resistance? How much it can control the flow of current from stopping the current to flow from the wire. Resist from flowing. Resist from flowing. This is but nothing but resistance. Conductivity is nothing but how much it can conduct itself to current. That is how much it can allow current to flow through it. Resistance depends on the length of the wire. It is the ratio of the potential difference across it to the current flowing through it. Opposite of resistance is conduction. It allows to conduct or allows to flow current through it. That is R is equal to V by I. SI unit is ohm. When a flow of water passes through a pipe, sudden jerk or any dust controls the flow of water. This is nothing but resistance in current. And conductivity is it allows to flow current through it. SI unit of resistance is ohm. Ratio is R is equal to V by I. The greater is the resistance, the greater is the ratio of V to I. Electric conductivity is measured that it is measured as the material's ability to conduct an electric current. It is commonly represented by the Greek letter sigma and its SI unit is Siemens or meter, S bar M. Electric resistivity is noted by P, known as specific electrical resistance or volume resistivity. This is the fundamental property of a material that quantifies how strongly that material opposes the flow of electric current. The SI unit of electric resistivity is the ohm meter. Here you can see few materials and the resistivity of it at 20 degrees C and conductivity of the same material at 20% C. Now, next you will see analogy of electric current with water flow. Analogy means nothing but comparing two things with one another. Here you will compare the flow of water through a pipe to a flow of current through a wire. Electric current is a flow of electrons through a conductor like copper wire. It is not visible to our human eyes. It is same as flow of water in a pipe. Now you will see comparing the pipe flow and current flow. The pipe is like the wire in the electric circuit and the pump is like the battery. As soon as the pump is activated, the water flows in a higher speed. As soon as the battery is connected to the circuit, the light is lighted up. Same ways, the pressure generated by the pump drives water through the pipe. The pressure is like the voltage generated with the battery, which drives electrons through the electric current. Suppose there is some dust or rust that is in the pipe, and it is not allowing the flow of water, creating a pressure difference from one end to the other end of the pipe. In similar way, the resistance in the electric circuit resists the flow of electrons and creates a voltage drop from one end to the other. Here you can see the energy loss, how more water current, less water current. Same, when you have more electric current, there are number of electrons increased, and when you have less less current flowing through a wire, you have electrons number is less. Now, sources of electric current: electrochemical cells or electric cells. What is an electric cell? An electric cell is something that provides electricity to different devices that are not fed directly or easily by the supply of electricity. Electrochemical or electrothermal source is used to generate electricity. Thermal source is for large scale and electrochemical is for smaller scale. If you have large scale of use for electricity generation, you use thermal source. If you have less need for electricity, you use electrochemical source. Now, electric cells have two terminals. In electric cell, chemical reaction takes place inside the cells which produce charge in the cell. Here you will see two types of cells. One is primary cell and second is secondary cell. In primary cell, it is nothing but the daily use batteries that we use for our TV remote, AC remote. These are all dry cells. And secondary cells are the batteries that we use for our mobile phones, which are rechargeable. Primary cells are commonly used batteries that are used for our torches, our toy cars, clocks, remotes. For all our general basic purposes, we use this. It can't be recharged, but secondary cells are used in automobiles and generators because the chemical reaction in them can be reversed, so they can be charged. For example, lithium cylindrical cells, button cells, alkaline cells, automobile battery, these are all your secondary cells. Difference here is given. The chemical reaction inside the primary cell is irreversible. That is, the chemical reaction can't be reversed. It is irreversible. Once used, it cannot be used again. The chemical reaction inside the secondary cell is reversible. That is, it can be again and again used. It cannot be recharged, while this can be recharged. Examples of secondary cells are lead accumulator, Edison accumulator. These are all examples for secondary cells. It is used to operate devices such as mobile phones, cameras, computers, and emergency lights. This point has been interchanged in your book. Kindly note it. This point is to be given in the primary cell. Third point has been interchanged. Yes, kindly check. Voltaic cell, Daniell cell, and Leclanche cell and dry cell are examples of primary cells. While as lead accumulator, Edison accumulator, nickel ion accumulator, these are all examples of secondary cells. A primary cell is nothing but a chemical cell that is commonly used in the common form batteries for many electrical appliances. It is available in portable and compact form, that is, it can be used anywhere. It was invented by Ei Sakizo of Japan in the year 1887. This is your dry cell. It comprises of an anode, a cathode, and a paste of MnO2. Here, the cells, as I told you earlier, it is used for remote control for TV, torch, camera, and toys. It is a portable form of Leclanche cell. This cell contains a zinc vessel which acts as a negative electrode or anode. The zinc inside this inner case, it acts as a anode. The next vessel, it contains a moist paste of sawdust saturated with a solution of ammonium chloride and zinc chloride. In this, ammonium chloride acts as an electrolyte. Electrolyte are nothing but the substances that become ions in solution and acquire the capacity to conduct electricity. This you will learn in detail in the upgoing classes. Just understand the concept of dry cells, that it has an anode, a cathode, and a paste of MnO2. The purpose of zinc chloride in this, that is zinc chloride in this, is to maintain the moistness of the paste being highly hygroscopic. What is hygroscopic? Anyone tell me the meaning of hygroscopic? Hygroscopic is nothing but hygroscopic is nothing but observes the moisture from the air and keeps the battery and retains the moistness of the paste. So it absorbs the moisture from the air and gives the moistness to the battery. Zinc chloride maintains the moistness of the paste. So next you will see a carbon rod. Anyone has opened a battery and seen all these things in a battery? After you use a battery, you will see all these things in a battery. The carbon rod covered with a brass cap, it is placed in the middle of the vessel. It acts as positive electrode or cathode. Then it is surrounded by a closely packed mixture of charcoal and manganese dioxide MnO2 in a muslin bag. This is a depolarizer. This is used to remove collected gas, the gas collected at the electrodes. MnO2 is used to remove gas collected at the electrodes. The zinc vessel is sealed at the top with pitch or shellac. This is the whole structure of the dry cell has been explained in points. If you read and go through it, you will understand. A small hole is provided in it to allow the gases formed by the chemical reaction to escape. The gases what are formed by this chemical reaction, there is a small hole given in the battery to let the gases escape from the chemical reaction which has been got. This battery cell has the same chemical action as the Leclanché cell. Now you will see about batteries. Batteries are a collection of one or more cells. Here see one cell has positive and negative. It lights up a bulb. One or more cells are connected together is a battery. All batteries are made up of three basic components, that is anode positive side, cathode negative side, and some kind of electrolyte. Electrolyte is a substance that chemically reacts with the cathode and the anode. These are nothing but the batteries. Next you will see the invention of battery. How was the invention of battery done? When two people named Luigi Galvani and Alessandro Volta, they were dissecting a frog attached to a brass hook. As soon as this Luigi Galvani touched the frog's leg with an iron scalpel which was hanging across a brass hook, the leg jerked, it moved. This sudden reaction made them think what was the reason behind it. Galvani theorized that the energy came from the leg itself, but his fellow scientist Alessandro Volta believed otherwise. He did this reaction continuously using other metals, and whatever metal was used or whatever cloth was used, the energy was the same. Then this made him to invent the modern battery. Volta published his findings in 1791 and later created the first battery, the voltaic pile, in 1800. The invention of modern battery is often attributed by Alessandro Volta. This actually happened because of the incident of dissection of a frog. They both understood the theories in different ways, and the actual reason was found out by Alessandro Volta, which made him to invent the battery in 1800. Now you will see about the electric switch. Our country faces a shortage of electricity. Why? Because many people waste electricity, which prevents others to use or others from having the power. This should not be done. How can electricity be used carefully and used only when needed? To electricity, you have to save it from, prevent it from wastage, and you have to save it as your duty. How would you do this? By using electricity only when needed, when it has its actual purpose to be done. This can be controlled using switches. Your all household electric appliances have on or switches, which using which you can start or stop the appliances safely and easily. In this page, you will be seeing different kinds of switches. This is the tapping switch, this is the plug key, this is the toggle switch, this is the rocker switch, illuminated switch, slide switch. These are all the various switches you have seen. That's all for today. In the next class, you will be seeing how will you draw circuit diagrams, what all are used in a circuit, what are conductors and insulators, and other topics to be covered in the electricity lesson. Thank you for your patience. Listen to the class carefully and learn properly. Thank you. Thank you, children.